You saw him do his little Hadouken, at the very end.
No, easy. That was
okay. Here we go. You got me on this Saturday. We were talking about what you said. It was a Kamehameha.
Yeah. He. I don't think he's old enough to know the Hadouken. He probably's played a little bit, maybe, of Street Fighter, but that's definitely
Voi's in that stand-up look over top of the center. They hike the ball, and the center climbs and try to get the second level. The guard tries to cross Voi's face, and Voi just hits him with that quick move and beats the guard. And Voi puts all that pressure in the backfield. They have to bounce the play out, and here comes Isaiah Ward.
All right, dog fans, before we hop into the show, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out, and we appreciate the support. Thanks to our sponsor, Simply Seattle, we'll be picking out one lucky new subscriber to win free Washington Huskies t-shirt and hat. To enter, just subscribe, drop a comment below letting us know that you've done it. You can be out there flexing that new Husky drip, that new Husky swag in no time. Plus, don't forget to check out Simply Seattle's QR code at the bottom of the screen, which will take you directly to their website for all your Washington Husky apparel needs. Good luck. Go Dogs. Thank you for everything.
Welcome to the Dubbed Up Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Flaunt. The Huskies are back in the win column with a 24-5 victory over Northwestern this weekend. I got my guys Izzo and Noah with me. Fellas, feels good to be back in the win column. For me personally, I thought we could have done a little bit more, but I'm happy to be winning. How are you guys feeling?
Yeah, man. I mean, you can't. I think it might be a little bit disingenuous to act like this. This is our first Big Ten game, but man, Northwestern, man, looking at that team, they're really hurting on the offensive side of the ball. When we found out that Cam Porter, about 25 minutes before the game wasn't going to play.
Yeah, that was it.
I texted a couple of buddies, including I think, these guys, and they're just like, this thing could get ugly, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think he's just a workhorse. I mean, he's a big, big piece of that production on that offensive side for them. But you know what, man? The defense, man, they showed up, showed out. Got to be pumped, man, with Stevie B, what he's doing. I heard this. I don't know where. I think it might have been on the Husky Honks or something. Shout out to Bechtold for this, but the first time we didn't give up a touchdown in a conference game since 2018.
Okay.
First Colorado. I think it was in the Pac-12 championship game.
That's a good one. I like that stat. That's a good one.
Yeah. That was a good stat, man. And the UW defense holding conference opponent to 53 passing yards, 59 rushing yards. I mean, it's wild, man. I got a little something, but I'm going to save it before we get into players because I got an interesting coaching decision I got to ask. I got to talk about, but Izzo, hit us up.
Yeah.
What else do you see?
I mean, obviously, as you're watching the game, like, it's hard not to just get uber excited. I mean, it's been a while since it's felt like we might have an absolutely dominant defense. And it's not that you can play the song and dance of, hey, this is a way lesser opponent, right? And we've been playing bad opponents. But aside from a couple things during the Apple Cup, like, we've done everything that you should do as a dominant defense. You can only play against the teams that you're playing against, right?
That's real.
And you're acting like a dominant defense. And I loved Stevie B so much, dude. Just like the little clip of him just like getting pissed off on the sideline, like looking like his dad
after Broussard had that late hit.
Yeah,
he looked hella pissed. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's so funny. Just his mannerisms are awesome. But up to this point, your strength of record is number 69 in the country, right? Your strength of schedule to this point has been 112th. So, of course, that is a factor to why you're averaging 9 points a game. You're giving up 9 points a game. But and that said, the strength of schedule remaining is number 14, according to ESPN. So things are about to obviously get way, way tougher. But you're handling business like you should.
After 4 games, there's been 3 games we haven't given up a touchdown in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, I don't remember where I heard this, but somebody said in modern day football, where offenses are, just way more high flying, you have athletes all over the country because of the transfer portal. There's 4 stars transferring down to lower levels. I mean, all those kinds of things to just actually hold teams to not get in the end zone. I mean, that's big time football, man. And I
It
mean,
really is.
and don't think our offense hasn't had some woes. I mean, we'll talk about that as we go throughout this podcast. But I mean, you got to give it up to Stevie B and just kind of be like, damn, man, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yep.
8 for 27. I don't care who you're playing. Like, that's just what a dominant defense does to a quarterback. 2 picks, obviously. We talked about it before. We're like, hey, we don't see this guy as a tier level threat and at the dual threat aspect. And he had, I think, 13 carries, 42 yards on 13 carries. So, I mean, obviously it's their starting running back goes out. That's their stud. So that's going to impact who they're letting carry the ball, but they just couldn't. It never felt like they ever had a chance moving the football at any real point. I mean, they got a couple first downs in the middle of the field, but I mean, were you guys ever really worried about them putting up points?
So I'm gonna bring us back down to earth a little bit here.
All
Yeah,
right.
because this is, I think when the defense does what the defense does as far as points and yards and all that, you can't discredit that. That is set in stone. But let's also look at this. There's the quarterback we just played was not a very good quarterback when it came to completing passes. There were a couple plays that like the Khmori House interception. That should have been a reception. It hit the dude right in the chest and bounced up in the air. He made, if we're playing Michigan or Ohio State or Oregon, that guy is making that catch, and that's a 12 to 15 yard play. Sure. There was a couple other ones that were on big third downs where, the guy was open. I seen one in the, I think it was the first or second quarter where he had Thaddeus Dixon beat and he just overthrew him. It just was a bad ball. And so there's a couple of those plays on defense where I watch it and I'm like, you know what? We need to get that shored up. But the confidence that we got from the fourth down stop on the 1 yard line, the 5 times, that's going to give this defense the confidence it needs moving forward. Agreed. I think where I worry most, and I put this on Twitter, is with the offense. About a third of the time, the offense is explosive. I mean, the balls that are being thrown, especially deep, are just dimes. They're right on the money, basket catches. But the other 2/3, it's very, very lukewarm. You'll watch from the 10-minute mark of the second quarter until about the 13-minute mark of the fourth quarter, we did not score. I think we were in the red zone twice. That's one where we had the Grady Gross missed field goal as well. They're just long periods against a defense that we should be able to take advantage of, that we just didn't. And part of it is, it's really hard because in my mind I'm trying not to compare it to last year because last year was a totally different offense.
Ongoing battle.
But when it comes to like fourth down plays, you remember KDB didn't seem to hesitate at all. He's like, you know what? I'm going to put this in the best player on the field's hands and let him win the game for us. On the third down when we were, I think we were on the 10-yard line, and he tries to hit Jackson on the out.
Yeah,
you hit Boston in the corner. He's got one-on-one with a guy that's 5'10". Throw the ball up and let him get it. Like, where's that? Go for it.
No, I was just going to say on that, just to keep us from going too far onto that, because I pointed that out as well on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And Stein was quick to correct me that he thought, I didn't go back and look at it, but he thought that we checked into that play. Because I was like, here's what, I was saying all week, feed me hard right here, please, God. The perfect opportunity. But I think he checked into that play. I think he liked what he saw on the outside or something like that. But I'm with you. Not to take away from your point, because your point's still valid.
Because Boston also still ran that route to the corner. He was, like I said, he was still in that play. If you look behind Jackson, Boston's in that back corner against that tiny DB. And they're just little things like that where I think we can get away with those against Northwestern. We might even be able to get away with those against Rutgers. But as we move into the Michigans and in the bigger conference games, those are things that they're the difference between a win and a loss, especially on high level football. And they're things that I'm just noticing being kind of lulls. And I'm hoping it's just a matter of, this is new for everybody. The whole offense is, learning this at once, and maybe they're going to grow into that. But it's one thing that definitely has me a little worried going forward.
No, what do you, I have my opinions on the play calling on offense, but do you have any overarching. Like, I think what Mike is saying is completely valid in terms of just the general theme of there's things to there's things to be desired with the offensive play calling.
Yeah.
I'll save my opinion. No, what do you think?
So I wasn't prepared for this in the
That's
sense
fine.
of like, no, yeah,
Mhm.
like my notes aren't there or anything, but my overarching thought is this. I think last year we had elite players at a lot of positions.
That's real.
Okay. And so what I mean by that is this. This year, I think we have some elite players at certain positions. I think we have some good players, and I think we honestly have some average players on offense. I really do.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
real.
and so when we have a big time play, it usually means that like everyone kind of came together, right? But last year it was so much easier for us to have a broken play or have maybe just like, oh, one guy didn't run a great route. Oh, well, guess what? We got two other guys that are elite running an elite route. Does that
Are you
make
saying
sense?
that KDB inherited studs, dude?
Uh-oh.
No, you dare,
Uh-oh.
But no, but I guess it's just like I think we need a lot more of like a very like the team has to fire on all cylinders for us to be good. And I think I'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow in our Rutgers game. And so in my predictions is like I think this team, when firing in all cylinders can be very good. But I think you really need every single person to be absolutely dialed to beat some of these
Mhm.
Big Ten teams.
That makes
I
sense.
I think my thought is that I think it's like a different way of saying exactly what Noah just said. You have this it's a blend of you having 4 games of runway to test things mixed with what Noah just said, which is like you need either everything to go right or it needs to be like a perfectly dropped in pass to Denzel in between two DBs or something like that for the explosive. Like the explosives don't come as easy, and like the cadence of the play calling is dictated by the plays before it, and
Yeah.
so there's so many factors that come in to play. However, that is your job as a coach with the play calling to figure it out, and it's been 4 games now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and let's not no, really quick. Let's not forget. There's multiple times last year, multiple games where it's like 1st and 10 and we throw some like 6-yard out incomplete, 2nd and 10. We run the ball, 2nd and 8, to go 3rd and 8. And it's like, "Oh, goodness gracious, here's Mike Penix throwing a freaking 35-yard out route to
Speed.
Rome." Or something yeah, exactly that you're like, yep, and that's why we are the 2nd best team in the country. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But, like so it's like it's not like we didn't have woes last year. We just had such elite players all over the field. It was so easy for us to make up some of those, like, little frustrations we had. This
Mhm.
year, I'm sorry, but the fact is, there's going to be frustrations, and there's going to be times where, yeah, you go 17 nothing in the first, 17 minutes of the game,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden you're like, get in the red zone, kick a field goal, miss, get in
Sputter.
the red zone. Exactly. And it's like, yeah, that's the team we got this year. But dude, but at the end of the day, man, this team still has enough talent. We're going to be able to beat some teams that I think we probably didn't think we could.
Well,
Yeah, your defense is gonna keep you in games 100%, and that I totally agree with everything that you just said.
you know, I think we might be able to then come to the agreement on is that the thing we're going to struggle with the most, and I think this is what makes good players great, is everybody being consistent at the same time.
Yep.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to get a consistency from Jonah Coleman all the time, maybe Denzel Boston all the time. But there's going to be guys where maybe on the line or other receivers or tight ends because they're younger that are not going to be consistent every single play. And that's going to be what we struggle the most from. But it's also something that can be it's something that can be taught. It's not something like speed or height or weight where if they don't have it, they don't have it. Um, it's going to be something that we're going to have to learn. Because I mean, hey, center quarterback exchange, we dropped 3 of those
Mm.
on Saturday. We had 3 fumbles that 2 of which cost us drives.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so those are things that can get better as we move forward.
Yep.
Before we move on, is there any other high level thoughts we got before we
I
start
got
getting into
a
stand up players? Go for
I
it.
got another interesting coaching decision.
Ooh, okay.
This happened to us against Weber State. It was 28-0, and the coach of Weber State decided to kick a field goal. You guys remember I brought that up?
Yeah.
I knew. I was wondering when this was gonna come up.
28-3. And then Northwestern, it's 17-2. They haven't moved the ball for a freaking decade. And all of a sudden, instead of the coach going for it on 4th and 1.5, he kicks a field goal. I mean, what am I missing here? Like, I know I'm just a podcaster sitting here with you, with you guys, but like those guys make a lot more money than me. But like, what am I missing with these coaches?
I think first of all, there's no excusing it, but his train of thought must have been it's so early in the game, like we weren't up. What was the score when that game?
It was 17-2 with like 5
okay.
minutes to go in the third quarter.
I was just gonna say, like, maybe his thought is like, well, we're gonna have to get down here way more than this anyways. So we gotta, but no, you're right.
So as we move forward, there was a lot of standout play on Saturday, and especially from our hometown dogs. Izzo, I think you're already ready to go. You got that thing locked and loaded. So
Yeah.
tell me about your offensive standout player.
Okay, so I'll go before I go into my standout players. I want to just say this, like the penalties, I'm worried about it. Like I'm actually worried about it because you can, if we're going to go down and kick field goals on offense inside the 25 or whatever, which we've seen over the last few weeks against lesser opponents, that means you cannot start slow. Like you can't go 3 and out. I mean, how many weeks in a row has the offense gone 3 and out on their first? I think they got one first down. There's either 1 or 2 over the first 4 weeks on their opening drive. They have a first down. So that's a problem.
That's a problem.
You can't have penalties and sputter and kick field goals in the red zone against lesser opponents on a regular basis, and then do that against a Rutgers, an Ohio State, whoever it is,
Michigan, Iowa.
Yeah,
I mean all the above.
So, sorry to start it off on a negative point. We've belabored play calling. We know those issues, penalties. I'll go into my player of the week, knowing that there's a very obvious one, and Noah will talk about him. But Jonah Coleman, man, woo! That hurdle, I don't know. I didn't know he had it. I mean, he's obviously a truck when he's running with the ball. But he was just making guys look silly out there. And on that dump off screenplay, I thought it was a broken play, but it was just a screen pass to Jonah, and he gets a guy in the open field, and it should have been a sure tackle, and he just hops the dude like it's no problem. That was so filthy. So you've got that. I thought that this was the worst run blocking game of the year so far. There was like 2 guys that were maybe over pursuing because they got past their dude. And in the first quarter, Jonah broke a run to the right where he juked a guy out of his jock strap. He was leaving jock straps all over the field. Mm-hmm. But if you watch that, it looked like it was going to be in the trap plays that they run where they try to get 4 guys into 2 blocking lanes. Mm-hmm. And he bounces to the outside. And if you watch that play on the replay, they weren't really getting pushed. He had to bounce to the outside because there wasn't like crazy backing pressure into that hole. He was forced to go to the outside, and it just wasn't there. So I'm a little concerned about that, but for him to still get 15 carries for 67 yards and create on his own, super encouraging because he's going to have to do that this year.
Real quick, can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
You brought up the 15 carries, and I was having a couple of conversations with the people I was watching the game with, and they were like, can we get him 20 carries in the game? Do you feel that 15 is enough for him to be as effective as he could possibly be?
I want to see him 20 plus, man.
Okay.
I think that Cam Davis is absolutely a very, very good running back. I think Muhammad's a stud too. I think that I think Coleman just has right now in his career, I think he has just that extra burst. And I don't really know why we're only giving him 14, 15, 16 carries a game. So
he's baby beast mode, man, for real.
I would love to see him at 20. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I would love to see him catch the ball more out of the backfield. After what I just saw the other dude, getting him in space is going to be a must moving forward, especially against Rutgers, man. I'm telling you, you gotta get him in space.
Yeah. And I was also gonna say this, rewatching the game with the red zone carries, with the penetration that they were getting against our offensive line. I don't know if you can ask Muhammad to shimmy through generate a broken tackle on every single play, the way that you can rely upon Jonah maybe doing that if guys are getting into the backfield, which he did on the game-sealing touchdown in the fourth quarter. They broke through there, and he found his way, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can count on Muhammad or Davis to do that as consistently as Coleman. So I'll volley that point to you guys.
I think you're right, because no matter what, the first guy that hits Coleman does not take him down, no matter where he is on the field. And
I feel that way about Muhammad too, but I just think Coleman, to your guys' point, is just a more reliable option to have that happen.
I mean, that's why Coleman averages, I think, like, what did we say? 4.2 yards after contact.
After first contact.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah, one of the best running backs I've seen here in a while, and we've had some really good ones.
Yeah.
Noah, who's a standout player for you in the game?
Yeah, I mean, Izzo kind of hinted at it, because I think it's everyone's standout, player. He got a game ball for sure, but Denzel Boston, man, the local product, big time statement, going 7 for 121. I think he probably hears people, after there was a couple games there where he kind of maybe seemed like he's had a slow start, but man, you gotta love that first big hitter play just right off the top, man. That's exactly what we wanted them to do. When we were kind of looking at this game, we thought we could take kind of take advantage of this secondary early and often, and we did that, man. I mean, the secondary, they came out in this like shell high look, and if you watch Denzel on that first play, it looks like he's gonna actually run like a fly or a go route. Then he hits him with this like beautiful inside move, ends up running the post route, and man, Will Rogers just an absolute, beautiful, man, bucket drop right there. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Russell Wilson, man. Some of those passes he used to make back in the day. But
that's a good call.
Yeah. The other piece on that too, I want to say is, we talk about, the elite play or this, or, when you give Will Rogers enough time, when you have that beautiful, curvature of the pocket, and that's what we had on that play. You can go back and look. I mean, even Latu stays in. He has a great pass pro set there. And I mean, the line, when they deliver, man, Will Rogers can pick teams apart, man. And you saw that on that play. And so my player of the game is Denzel, with it, a little bit of love for the pass pro there, and Latu as well. So
yeah, I have one more, which was Rogers, and I think you just hit the nail on the head. He's just been efficient, 20 of 28. They find the guy. I mean, I think they had 9 pressures against us. They had 8 against Duke, 9 against us, and only 2 resulted in negative plays. Two were sacks, and so you got to give kudos there, because he has to make a guy miss. There was one where he spun out, where he stepped up, spun out of the pocket. That was just, they showed a replay of it, and I was like, that was some NFL level pocket awareness. Just looked good. It reminded me of Russell, to your point.
You know what's crazy? If you look at his numbers right now, he's on pace to throw for about 4,000 yards and almost 30 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's playing really, really well. And so I feel like we didn't take, I mean, it's always going to be a step down when you have a guy like Michael Penix as your quarterback, but it's not the step down that I thought it was going into this season.
Yeah. And Noah, I was just going to add this to Noah's guy with Boston, pacing for over 900 yards and 15 touchdowns. That's fantastic. Giles is pacing for 75 plus catches. What was the number that we asked? I think we asked 60. Did we want the over?
Yeah, 50 or 60, something like that.
Yeah, he's going way over.
Hey,
and this is a game that he didn't even get a lot of targets.
He really didn't.
Yeah.
I have actually a question for you guys, because we brought up the line. They gave up 3 sacks on Saturday. But we also noticed for the first time Maximus McCree starting, and he played pretty much the whole game till he got hurt at the very end, which I don't know. I didn't hear anything about if he's going to play again this weekend.
Fahan Solo was hurt. Yeah.
Well, Fahan Solo even played some this last week.
Yeah, I don't know if he was 100% though.
No, he wasn't. And I think he only got like 12 or 15 plays. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you guys think about what McCree did stepping in?
I mean, I'll just say the first time stepping in, getting pretty much the full reps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like I noticed him that much. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of a good thing, right?
He gave up that early sack though on the first drive.
He kind of got humped and checked on that thing. I don't even know what you'd want to call that move, but it was that guy just kind of powered him. And I mean, it was a nice play.
He did look more experienced though when it came to pass blocking and being able to get set in his stance and kicking back and everything.
Yep.
Like I did like what I saw there. And
That's kind of been our biggest question with Salo, is it just looks like it's such a lumber to get back into his pass pro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one guy's strength is the run blocking, one guy's is the pass blocking. McCree's the pass block, maybe a little bit more consistent with pass blocking.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think that we're gonna see a lot of that as the season goes forward. If McCree can get his run blocking up to par, then I think we're gonna end up being okay. It just was, man. I texted our little chat like early, like, "Yo, we got to figure out the offensive line." And then after that sack, I noticed him kind of settle in a little bit, and them also providing help. Like I said, putting a tight end over there, having a running back being able to chip off, and I think we're gonna see a lot more of that as the season goes. But it's gonna be something that is gonna make us pull our hair at times, and then we'll be pumped when we see it actually work, like we did on the deep pass to Denzel in the back of the end zone. All right. Any other offensive players you guys want to talk about before we move on to the defense?
No, man. I think, I really hope we can get Khmori back for this Rutgers game.
I agree.
Do we have any word on that? Did Jed say anything about that in the press conference today? No.
I haven't seen the press conference yet today, but I bet you we won't.
I feel like if he would have made a mention of Khmori, I feel like that would have been all over the timeline. So
that's real. That's real. Defense is another story. Like I said, they only gave up 5 points. I don't even know how many total yards, but it wasn't much. I guess we started with Izzo on the last one. Let's start with Noah on this one. Noah, who stuck out to you on the defense and why? I got a question for you guys. Have you ever wanted to walk into Husky Stadium where there's 70,000 people and be the best looking person in the stadium? If you have, make sure you go to Simply Seattle, hit that QR code. Our good friends at Simply Seattle hooked us up and we look great. You see that QR code? Make sure you snap that, go check it out. Get all the Husky gear you want, plus Mariners, Sonics, Storm, all that stuff, everything at Simply Seattle.
While you're at it, be sure to check out the Dub Discord community with over 2,700 members. It's the largest organized chat room for all things Washington Husky athletics. You want insider access? Our VIP membership unlocks exclusive chat rooms and rumors you won't find anywhere else. Hit the QR code on the screen and join the conversation today. Go Dogs. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, man. I got two guys, dude. I got two war daddies, Valdez and Voi, man.
Yeah.
Dude, they were creating havoc up front all day. And I think you're gonna need that, man, especially in this next couple of games, man. There are some absolute road grading offensive linemen coming through. And we're gonna need a healthy front ready to go. But man, Voi, dude, Valdez and Voi, man, I'm telling you, I just was like watching them, and I'm like, God, these guys are just absolutely dominating, man. And Valdez ended up with 6 tackles, 2 solos. Like I said earlier, Valdez was the one that put all that pressure on Lausch when Bruner made that pick. Up in his face, made him have a high throw. The guy fell down, and Bruner just took it back for like 20 or 30 yards. Nice return. But dude, when you watch Voi, he was legitimately lined up all over the place. He was lined up at edge on the right, edge on the left. He had his hand in the ground playing D tackle. He had his hand up there in a 2-point stance, standing over top of the nose guard. But he ended up with 3 tackles, a sack, a TFL. And the TFL is the one I want to talk about. It's because he actually helped create another one for Isaiah Ward. But it was 3rd and 12. Ball was on the Northwestern 23-yard line. Voi's in that stand-up look over top of the center. They hike the ball, and the center climbs and try to get the second level. The guard tries to cross Voi's face, and Voi just hits him with that quick move and beats the guard. And Voi puts all that pressure in the backfield. They have to bounce the play out, and here comes Isaiah Ward, presses down and gets a TFL, which was one of his his first TFL, and he ended up having 2 on the day. But it was just like extremely sound football, man, that's what you need to see. And it's with Voi getting all this opportunity with Durfee hurt. I just think that this is exactly what these guys are taught. Once again, Mike, you bring this up a lot. It's like the Belichick defense is very much discipline, do your job, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you see these guys taught this in practice, and now they're putting it in motion on Saturdays. And it's fun to see, man. I think Voi is very much like the unsung hero on that D line.
Yeah.
There's a lot, there's a lot of like bigger names, bigger transfers. But I think Voi, man, he's just been one of those guys. He's been a dog since day one, and you just gotta love him.
Yeah, people forget, like, out of all of our defensive linemen, he's got the most production at the Power 5 level compared to anybody else as far as sacks and TFLs go that we have. But I
Yep.
think that that whole edge room in general, because Ward got his sack too, and you saw him do his little Hadouken, at the very end.
No, easy. That was
Okay, here we
yeah.
go. You got me on this Saturday. We were talking about it. What you said, it was a Kamehameha.
Yeah. He I don't think he's old enough to know the Hadouken. He probably's played a little bit maybe of Street Fighter, but that's definitely
Bro, he hit him with
easy
this.
pull.
What is this? What is this right here? You're like, oh.
That's Kamehameha right
Oh,
there.
okay, that was dope.
I mean,
It's also
Hadouken,
Hadouken.
but that's a beauty.
You know what? No, I'm glad we could have this conversation. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed seeing that, because that was a play where his motor is what got him that sack. That and the secondary really, locking everybody down. So that was pretty dope. Now, staying with the defense, Izzo, who stuck out to you?
I mean, we can't not bring up the Elijah Jackson hawk down of all hawk downs.
Oh, God.
Some DK Metcalf level, just trucking full speed. That was awesome. I shout out to Coach S. He's like, I think that was my favorite play ever. And
I saw that.
Man, that's just the epitome. We talked about it before with guys just doing that extra mile with Giles. He did it pass with the blocking downfield. That was some leadership level at, showing 110% effort, going down, saving a touchdown. And that was just like, that's probably the play of the game, right? Him and Jonas Hurdle. So shout out to him. I don't think he had any targets. I don't think they came at him once. I don't know if they had time. They just weren't looking his way, but I don't think he had any targets his direction in this game on the defensive side of the ball, but that play alone gets a call out. Khmori House is my other.
That's a good
27 snaps, shows up every single week as a true freshman, Big Ten freshman of the week on defense, gets his first pick. I know it might have hit that dude in the breadbasket and popped up or whatever. Still just awesome. Super happy for him. But for you to come in only 27 snaps on defense and get your 3 tackles, get your pick, tip of the cap to you, big fella.
Man, I couldn't agree more, because it may have hit the dude in the chest, but part of being a great defense is being there to clean up that garbage when it pops up in the air. Because a lot of times, I was actually talking to my brother about this, we're just not quite in the right place to make those plays when, the ball will pop up, you just hit the ground and you're like, man, if that guy was just 2 yards closer, and for Khmori House to be there, make that play, that's a sign of a great defense coming into its own, because he was in position and he would have been there to make the tackle if the guy would have caught it like he should have. So I agree. That was a big time play, very
Absolutely.
big time play. For me, it was just the edge room in general. The edge room in general, not having Durfee and being able to get a lot of pressure. I know we did get a couple sacks. And I'm going to reiterate Voi. He always pops up right when we need him the most. So,
amen.
All right. Is there any other high level defensive thoughts that you guys want to put down on before we get out of here and call it a pod?
No, just to reiterate, like Stevie B trusting his DBs and attacking the weaknesses of offensive lines with specialized defensive tackles, edges, and feeling confident in giving different guys majority of snaps based on what the offensive line shows you on tape. That's some elite level coaching, scheming. I love it. It's easier to do probably on defense to be that nimble than it is on offense. So I'll give that to Jed, but the defense just looks, I just have confidence. We're not going to lose games because of the defense. If we do lose games, it's because of penalties and offensive play calling forced on you by, mismatches against some of these, big time Big Ten defenses that we're going to play against. So that's kind of my high level thought from this game.
My head level thought is, hey, don't piss off Stevie B, because he'll give you that stink eye. And don't nobody want that stink eye, man. You look like you were going to kill somebody.
Amen. No, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, man. I mean, the big thing I had, dude, is we're getting into some Big Ten football right here. It's coming hard and quick, man. And
Yeah.
and I'm really excited to see what this Stevie B defense can kind of keep pulling out of his sleeve, because I think you're gonna see a lot of different looks each week, man. I think you'll see something different this week than you saw this past week. I think we're really gonna look for our D line, our linebackers to really come downhill and make a lot of plays in the backfield, not let these running backs get going. And from a offensive standpoint, really quick, it's time, man. Jed, it's time to pull everything out, man. I want to see some mesh concepts this coming week. I want to see. I mean,
Giles.
yeah, dude.
Yep.
I mean, this is the week. This is the
Take
week.
the
man.
handcuffs
So,
off, man. Let it fly.
Yep. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing this team leaves me with a little bit to desire. But you know what? It's fun.
Just
And
room to grow, man. It's just
that's
room to
right.
grow.
So,
It's cautious optimism.
Yep.
That's how we're operating.
yes, sir.
All right, before we get out of here, I just want to make sure you guys know, hit that QR code at the bottom, join our Discord. It's the best Husky community there is. You guys already heard the commercial earlier, so you guys know it's dope, but it is. It's 2,700 strong and the best conversation when it comes to Husky football. So for my guy Izzo, for my guy Noah, I'm Mike Flaunt, and this is the Dubbed Up Podcast. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs, baby. Go Dogs.
That was a good one. You guys did the Go Dogs in unison.